In 1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with, well seasoned through the test of time. As the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
In the post game, Coach had a few guys go down. You had some guys step up today.
Yeah.
Wayne Sumner, how about those two efforts?
Yeah, no question. Neither of those two had played a bunch this year. Lane mostly because he was down a whole bunch, but just he's been getting better as far as his health goes, and yeah, he stepped up big today when we needed him most. Ran really hard down the stretch, and Rush has been certainly waiting in the wings. He's had some reps at the end of some games, but that was obviously the first time he's been out there for real, and I'm certain he did his job. That's the nature of this team. We gotta have that next guy up, be ready to go, and hats off to both those guys.
Boy, in the fourth quarter there, you guys got pinned in the 3-yard line, got some first downs, flipped field position. That was a key time in this football game.
Yeah. Obviously they had that little sequence at the end of the half where things didn't go our way in any which way, and they got some momentum. And then that fourth quarter, everything was hanging in the balance. An excellent punt by them, and we had to do something to flip the field. And offensively, we were able to at least get it out of there. And then Bryce hit a big punt again, and I was forced them to go the long way, and that flipped the field position. We get it at midfield, and we're able to take it in. So everything kind of worked together as far as it's supposed to in the fourth quarter.
About touchdown, Tommy. Talk about him.
Yeah. He certainly injected what we needed today as far as that running ability, in particular when Isaiah goes down. I think him playing like he did in the second half is in part that. He's certainly one of our top runners, and he's going to find a way to make the first guy miss and find that end zone like he did 3 times today. And we still need to keep coming with him overall, but certainly appreciate his efforts.
Great, guys.
Was going to him as much as you did in response to missing Isaiah?
Well, I think in the second half, I think it became that. I know in the first half we had planned on utilizing him, and we had plenty of momentum, and then we get the turnover, and that kind of squashed it all and gave them life. And credit to Idaho. I think as a staff we knew they had good players, and it hadn't all come together for them this year collectively, but they were able, to cause us problems if we allowed them momentum, and unfortunately, we did that. That sequence before the half, a lot went wrong for us. And all of a sudden, we're in a dogfight, and really, nothing really happened positive, relatively speaking, in the third quarter. But I think this team, believes, and I think understands that it's about the end result. We would want it to look prettier, but it didn't. But we found a way in the fourth quarter to sequentially put the defense, the special teams, the offense all together and find a way to win the game.
How much does putting Tommy in depend on kind of how Matt's playing?
It was a concerted effort all week to not have it be about that. I know Tommy didn't get any quarterback reps out at Eastern, and that wasn't because of anything Matt did or Tommy didn't do or whatever. It was just the way that game unfolded. So this game, the plan was to get him in more, get credit to Idaho. They really squeezed the first half as far as the possessions and the opportunities. And when we didn't cash in that second possession with a score, felt like we could be for a long game, and that's the way it turned out. But both of them did some things today. We have to throw the ball better for sure. I mean, the 106 yards isn't gonna cut it. We only threw it 16 times. But like I said, it doesn't always look the way you plan. Back to the drawing board, so to speak, and figure out how we get a win next week.
What do you think of your defensive pressure up front? You got some sacks, but also their quarterback team seemed to escape quite a bit.
Yeah. I know we probably figured number 5 was going to play all week, and with the chance that they would insert Zach the game, and we would have to play against him every once in a while. But then, when he's the guy out there, it really changed the way we had to play. And it wasn't like we didn't have a plan, but our bigger part of our plan was to play the other guy. And there's such stark contrast. And we faced elusive guys, and then elusive guys are going to give everybody trouble. And it'll be interesting to look at the film. Frustrated at times when we lost Contain. We didn't quite get him down, and that's, we could probably do better, but it's certainly credit to that young man too. So, I at the very least, the fourth quarter, we started getting them down, and we started corralling them. And there's a couple balls he threw up in the air, and I hope, 9 times out of 10 we catch those. We were 0 for 2, so I felt like we were going to get a turnover, and it just never happened. And that was a big reason why the game stayed the way it did, because they didn't turn it over, and we had the one that really killed us. And anytime you're down on the turnover margin, it just creates the situation. It's hard. So I think we certainly enjoy the fact that we won the game, but we got to find a way to keep getting better, and that's been our mantra all year. We're down to one regular season game with a whole heck of a lot on the line now, and no looking ahead. I guess that's the big thing now.
The second long run that Lane had down in the red zone late in the game, you could see you and the staff kind of get fired up. What's going through your mind at that time?
Well, I think that whole fourth quarter, you're just looking for, hey, we need a guy to make a play. And it happened a couple times for sure on defense. Offensively, it really didn't. We were just grinding for everything we got. But that was Lane making a couple plays. And I think, we maybe at that point began to wear them down a little bit up front. So that was, I just urged them on, I guess. I mean, that's coaching, right? You cheer them on and hope they do what you want them to. But, I appreciate Lane. He really hasn't had much of an opportunity. His opportunities have been scattered, and, he's been hurt a long time, but he sure came through in the fourth quarter for us.
Wearing them down. It took a lot longer to wear Idaho out than most teams. What did you think of just their physicality?
Well, I say this, they got good players. They do. And I think a few of their games, certainly they got to chasing points in a hurry, and they got to flip the type of game they want to play. We're able to go up 2 scores in the beginning part of the game and don't turn that ball over. Maybe it flips for us. They're in a completely different mode, but we couldn't do that. We struggled to open up a lead. And anytime you do that with a team that's got good players, I think that's what you're going to get. And we gave them so much momentum in that, that whole sequence before the half. The big plays, them scoring. We get the ball to midfield, we throw it. We get a couple guys hurt the last couple plays, but I think certainly credit to them. And I knew that they would do what they did if we allowed them to, and unfortunately we did. We allowed them to.
Chase, Daniel, Amandre getting sacks, Lance a couple big catches, all seniors. What do you think of that class's performance on the senior day?
Well, I told the team this morning, really good, great teams are generally a product of those guys that are in their last go-around really having their best years. And I think we got a whole bunch of those guys doing just that. And we got guys, the 19 guys that ran out there today, all different kinds of roles. And, I think it's a group that's all in, but, those guys that are playing meaningful snaps, I truly believe are having their best years of their career. And that's what's allowed us to get to this point. So, I think they were bound and determined that this wasn't going to be their last game here in this stadium. And I think where we sit right now, that's probably the truth.
Anything more you can say about Isaiah, TJ, and Elijah?
I hope certainly that those are injuries that they can recover from. Obviously not within the course of the game. They'll have to get in and get evaluated more tomorrow. I'm certain it's all their mindsets to get back for next week's game. And it was nothing serious, nothing season-ending by any nature.
And then James is starting for Eric. What was kind of the thought there?
Well, I think, now at that position we have some more depth. We have competition. It's probably a reflection of how last week went, and then Eric playing in most of the second half was probably a reflection on the first half win. So I think it's a good situation where we got a bunch of guys that can play that spot, and you ride the hot hand, so to speak.
He had a pass breakup, and there, other than touchdown, there were some big plays they could have had, and you guys stopped him from scoring on a couple of those deep throws.
Yeah, they advanced the ball into our territory a few times, and it came up short, and did make a couple field goals. But I think that's been the nature of our defense all season. We might give up a few things here and there, and I thought we gave up more lengthy plays today than we typically have, which I'm sure will frustrate everybody. But ultimately, our guys, did stick together. Move on to the next play. That's been our mindset, and ultimately, find a way to do what it takes to win the game, and that's what we did at the end.
I want to ask you about 2 fourth downs. The fourth down early in the second half, what was the decision making there? And then the second one, you didn't go for it, and Bryce pins him way deep. So kind of a dichotomy of.
Yeah, we're in their territory, just probably outside of field goal range. 3rd and 3. Turns into a 4th and 3, and I just thought for us right there at that point in the game, let's go get it. We didn't. And then on the flip side, we were in our territory yet, wind at our back, with an opportunity to pin him. The score was tied, and it was just a matter of us getting the punt that we needed, getting the stop that we needed, and getting the field position. It did work out from that point. So one works out, one doesn't, and that's I think that's the nature of things. Sometimes we certainly have confidence in our guys to make those plays, but at the same time we need to be smart about where we're at the game and where we're at within the game, and trust our other units at the same time to ultimately improve that field position. And it worked out for us.
What can you say about Tommy Mallett's toughness? I mean, he's a big kid.
Yeah, he's got a lot of it. I know that, and I'm sure that's a lot to do with where he comes from. And he doesn't say boo. He does whatever he's asked. I know he scored that first touchdown, and he ran down on the next kickoff. I think we got that fixed after that, where he didn't run down on the kickoffs after that. But just appreciate his willingness to do whatever this team needs, and that's toughness. A lot of quarterbacks aren't running down on kicks. They're not on all 4 special teams. They're not playing receiver, and just staying within it mentally. And he's a young guy, but he's mature, I think, beyond his years. And then you put the ball in his hands, he's gonna do something with it. And he obviously showed that more than a few times today.
On those 2, when you were pinned down on the 3-yard line, he got the first down by that much twice, but he took big hits on those.
Yeah. Yeah, he got just enough, and he in both cases, I think it was the first guy, he had to run through or evade or whatever. So, yeah, I can't say enough about I guess the spark that he gave us throughout the game. Scoring all 3 of our touchdowns. I think it goes without saying that he had a major impact on the result today.
And he's starting to the lights run. I keep saying tonight. Just anything you can say on Jaden too.
Jaden suffered an injury this week during practice, so he wasn't ready to go.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks. Win doesn't get much better than that.
About 4 minutes to go. You guys have him pinned up against the south end zone. You guys are getting the crowd going. So I mean, what's going through your mind at that time? How much does that just ignite you?
It's just honestly, it was just who's gonna make a play. It's got to be somebody. We need it. Somebody's got to pop. Getting the crowd into it. I'll say it. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. We have the best fans in the FCS. I'll take them in the FBS too. But getting those guys into it. Making sure that it wasn't easy for them. So shout out to them.
How much of a curveball was it to have number 13 in there at quarterback?
Not much. I mean, we anticipated him being in the game at some point, so we watched film on him and I think their starter number 5, and it was honestly just improvise, adapt, and overcome. You can't be a rock. You got to be like water. Be flexible, be able to bend. So I think we did a good job adapting to what he had. The dude's slippery. It took a couple sacks away from me today, so credit to him for that.
Danny, after the game, there was a really big group out there of all of you doing a big prayer, and I think you were leading it. Do you always lead the prayers like that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
Why? Why are you the chosen one? And
I think it just kind of. I said one prayer at the beginning of the season, and then it just kind of. I became the guy, but I grew up in the church. My dad was a pastor. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I know he's watching, and I'm hoping to make him proud.
At the end of the first half and going into halftime, obviously tide turned quite a bit. What was kind of the mood in the locker room at halftime?
Nobody flinched. It was, we're here to get a job done. Adversity is a thing that comes with football. Nobody backed down. Nobody was scared. We just went out there and got the job done. Execute every play. Nothing changed.
How special was the senior day ceremonies?
It was really nice. Kind of emotional. I was there with my mom, and kind of had to hold back tears a little bit because she was telling me my dad was proud and he was watching and he was here, and I just kind of started thinking about not having him here. I would have loved for him to see everything that I'm doing, and I know he's watching from up above, but I'd love to give him a hug right about now.
Can you just touch on how instrumental he was in your life? I know he was involved in your football life a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. My dad was my best friend, and not in the sense where like you're happy all the time, best friend, but like my dad truly and genuinely loved me, as any parent would. Did the best for me that he possibly could, and put me in a position to succeed in life, and love him forever. And I'm living every day to make sure his legacy lives on, and that's something very special to me. So the Hardy, it's not about Daniel, it's about Hardy. So
Moni was playing at the end. Obviously, a week from now will be a pretty big game. How excited are you now that this game's in the past and you can look forward to that game?
We're always looking forward to being able to take it to those guys over the hill. It doesn't change. The standard is a standard, and we're going to go out there and try and roll over them like we would do anybody else. So,
a lot of seniors made pretty good impacts today, especially along your defensive line. Just what do you think of your class's performance?
That's the thing I love about playing here is, all those seniors that you saw out there today, I think they said 19, all 19 of those guys are 100% bought into what we have going on here. All those guys have been here from when our when our locker room was over there. We got guys who were here when we didn't have a fueling station, when we didn't have the things that we have. So all those guys have stuck around for, I think the most I've heard is 6 years, and they've helped build everything that we have here. And, I can't tell you how thankful I am to be a part of such a dedicated group. And, the leadership that we have from those guys is insane as well. Like, nobody, when things go wrong, everybody looks to them, and, they're leading the charge.
All right, thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel. Thank you.
Blackfoot Communications is committed to supporting Bozeman businesses. From intelligent network solutions like SD-WAN to fast and reliable fiber-based services, Blackfoot delivers innovative ways for your business to succeed. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.
Well, scoring all 3 touchdowns in a win. Did you dream about this before the season, that this could happen?
I don't know if I specifically thought about like my role, how I would, see myself like this. Going into the season, really just wanted to contribute. I had the opportunity to start on some special teams, and just given a couple more opportunities as the year's gone on, and I guess today it just kind of everything fell in line. Idaho played good 4 quarters. We had a couple. We just fought through. Everyone was just doing their 111th, and at the end of the day, I just tried to do my 111th, and a couple of times that they all added up. So.
Describe that feeling now when you run into the end zone, right with the student section right there for the winning touchdown.
Yeah, that was something else for sure. Growing up, I got to see a lot of guys do that. Gave me, gives you chills. Those guys ahead of me blocked the butt off, and it was something else for sure. I don't really know how to describe it right now.
One of the guys who's done that is obviously one of your teammates, Trey Anderson. You kind of have a similar role to he had in the past. Have you thought about that much, or been told much about how kind of you have a Trey Anderson type role?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I compare myself to Troy Anderson at all. I mean, that guy's something else, that's for sure. I don't know if anyone can be on his level. But just I think, just trying to use my athleticism best for the team, and that's kind of where they see me. So, I mean, I'm just grateful for that.
You guys took over, pinned down 3. What's your mindset as a quarterback in that moment? Because you got to get a little bit of breathing room, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think right off the bat, Matt went in and did a really good job getting a couple of first downs, and ultimately we wanted to run the ball, wanted to get +1 run game with the quarterback, so they threw me in, and that was a really big moment in the game for sure. They tried pinning us, and they did a good job of that, and we got out of that, and I think Bryce put them on their 9-yard line or something like that at the end of the drive. So, those things really add up. So we got a couple first downs, and ultimately that really shifted the game, because then we got the punt on the 40-yard line and ultimately scored off that. So just field position switching.
With no Afase, no Elliott, what do you think of Lane Sumner stepping up?
Oh, geez, that guy's just he's worked his butt off all year long. He got injured early in the year, and his role's just progressing since then. I think he did a great job. That last drive, 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. He set everything up there. So that was, he stepped in there and did everything that he could, and we're all very proud of him for sure.
When you scored your first touchdown during the blowout victory, you talked about the team's belief in you, but now having the ball in your hands and scoring a touchdown in the most crucial moments, what does it mean to have your team believe in you then?
Yeah, it means the world, that's for sure. I don't know what else to say about that. Just a lot of guys, they believe in me, and I just tried to do my best, I suppose.
Senior day, you got a couple of senior offensive linemen. Just what do you think of that class and their impact on this program?
Oh, geez. I mean, coming into this program last year because of COVID, I looked up to all the seniors, obviously, and I was like, oh, geez, I'm only gonna get 1 year with these guys, and COVID, no one really says this is, it's lucky because it happened, but I see it as, lucky for me. I had the opportunity to be with these guys for 2 years, and I think the world of them. They work their butt off every day. They're just a really strong knit group, culture driven, and we just wanted to send them off right. Tough fought game for sure. We're glad we got the win for sure.
How excited are you for your first guy, Grizz?
Oh, geez. I haven't really thought about it a whole lot yet. I'm just going to get after him, I suppose. We're going to get back on Monday and, flip that switch and get ready for those guys just like every other game. So we know what we got to do.
Who's the senior that's had a big influence on your career so far?
Yeah, for sure. Looking at Tui and Lewis Kidd, those guys up front, they believed in me and they give me a lot of support while I'm out there, which means the world. Obviously, you look down there and you think that there's a lot of pressure on me, but those guys, really, they got my back, and they're, they just, they know how to. They have experience. They know what to say. They know how to get you ready. So those guys have been great, and obviously all of them have right off the bat. Just thinking of the offensive linemen, and yeah, so.
All right, thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy. So, Troy, how does it feel to kind of earn a win there in such a hard-fought game like that?
Yeah, Idaho's a great team. They did some stuff that was tricky, and they're dangerous. That quarterback was pretty darn slippery back there. But yeah, to come out with a win is big, just for momentum going into obviously a big week.
On the design runs with number 13, what were they doing with the blocking scheme?
Just quarterback run game. It just adds an extra gap. So you need everybody, and so we're relying on safeties to come down and fit, and they were doing a great job. And it's just, I don't know, you misfit or get too tight on a block, and it can kind of pop. So you got to be really dialed when it's quarterback run game.
What do you think was changed after you went up 13-3? Why were they able to kind of come back and?
I don't know. Idaho's a good team. I guess that's why. A like I said, their defense is obviously fairly stout to hold our offense like that. And they do enough on offense to really challenge us. And when you're locked into the run, and then they spread it around, they did some really good things today. And yeah, it was tough.
What do you think of Trey Walker?
Trey Walker, like their linebacker. Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's obviously a really good player. He's a stud in the Big Sky.
After seeing years of senior day ceremonies, what was it like to finally be part of this one?
Yeah, it was weird, I'd say. Obviously, I've never been out on the field for it, so I didn't really know what to expect. But it was cool. I mean, being out there with all the guys that I've been here with for the last 4 or 5 years, just to kind of listen to them, what they had to say, and then to be out there with your family is obviously a special moment. I mean, hopefully, and like we won't have we'll be back here again, so it wasn't a send-off per se. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously a special moment as a senior. It was cool.
What kind of impact have those guys made on your life?
Yeah, I mean, they're some of my best friends. I mean, a lot of them are a lot of my best friends. Just the things that we've gone through together, and I mean, football is such a brotherhood, and the team is so close. Yeah, I mean, they're my best friends. They're people I'm going to call for the rest of my life and be able to rely on and depend on, let alone on a football field today. So yeah, it just means a lot.
Do you feel like those bonds are really important or carry over into a game like this when it's down to the wire?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's just so much trust and belief in one another, being able to rely on each other and trust each other to do their jobs. Or, I mean, the offense is going to go score eventually, and the defense is going to get a stop. Just there's no panic, no letdown. Just be able to rely on your brothers like that is definitely huge.
What do you think of Tommy Malott and Lane Sumner both stepping up for the offense?
Oh yeah, touchdown Tommy right there. He's a stud. I mean, Butte America right there, man. And then Lane, obviously, he's been here for a while too, and Isaiah gets a lot of the credit, but Lane's a stud as well, and he proved it today. I think we got a whole stable of running backs and a whole bunch of guys that are dangerous and hard to defend, so I wouldn't really want to play us.
How's the defensive stand when you're backed up against the south end zone, almost going through behind? And I mean, that must have been pretty cool to have the fans right there and you guys get a chance to seal it.
Oh yeah, I mean the crowd stuck around today, and it was definitely loud. I was looking over to Cal and yelling something at him, and we're 4 feet away, and he couldn't hear me. So that's big. And just obviously having a chance to go seal the game, you always want to take advantage of it. Don't let them have any sort of hope in that moment, and it was good to kind of shut them down.
You look back on your rundown of on that long pass play they had, and think that was a pretty important play in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just you're doing your job. I got picked on it. That was my man, so I felt like I kind of gave that one up. I don't know. Yeah, just kind of chase him down.
After the game, when you're cheering with the fans and the music's playing, are you thinking about next week, or are you still kind of just in this game?
No, it's just next week. Next week mode for sure. It's a big one, like everybody knows. So on to the next.
It's been 2 years of anticipation.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Big week.
Getting back to Tommy a little bit, were you able to watch the plays when they were pinned down on 3 and he was able to get a couple first downs on like 3rd and 4s and just kind of took a big hit a couple times? Were you able to watch those again? If you did, could you speak on his toughness a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, Tommy's obviously a super tough guy. When I think it was 3rd and 4 twice, and he picked him up both times. And that's just a testament to how, I mean, his drive and his motor and how tough he is and how good of a player he is. And then our offensive line also kind of being able to get a push in key moments like that, get us out of that backed up situation, able to flip the field, and eventually they punt us and then we go score. I mean, that's just team football right there, and yeah, it was big.
All right, thanks, Trey.
Blackfoot Communications is committed to supporting Bozeman businesses. From intelligent network solutions like SD-WAN to fast and reliable fiber-based services, Blackfoot delivers innovative ways for your business to succeed. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.